There are some Skylanders that you resort to whenever things just aren't going your way. Now, most people like to use gimmick Skylanders, Swap Force, Giants, Trap Masters, Superchargers, Senseis, things of that nature. But whenever things come down to it, the cores, there's a lot to be done with the cores. Now, I use one gimmick Skylander whenever things get rough, and that, of course, is Blast Zone. Blast Zone is a gimmick Skylander from Skylanders Swap Force. He is part of the Swap Force as, he has magnets in his torso so he can swap halves and bottoms. Now, this dude is quick and he can just chuck bombs one after the other. He has instant refill, he has flame breath to make a flame ring all around himself and then it blows up. He has rocket feet where he can sit here, he'll go like this, and he'll propel himself really fast forward. And I use this guy a lot in Skylanders Trap Team. Just recently, I finished the final Chaos Doom challenge, which is the 100th level. So that's kind of cool. And Blast Zone was a big part of that. Blast Zone got me to level 96 and was abruptly defeated whenever an army of Graveclobber surrounded him and all attacked him at the same time. Basically, I literally could not move. I was going to switch into a villain, but my controller wouldn't work for some reason. I was like, button, 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 come on, what are you doing? And then, boom, my boy fell. But he did his best. On to the next one. When the going gets tough and you need to keep your distance, my boy Camo is where it's at. He can sit here and he can spin and just make vines of these like little peppers and stuff, and they will just blow up and cause massive damage to the enemy. A lot of the time hitting critical hits, and especially if you're in a zone where life Skylanders have, stronger abilities. This dude is your man. Not only that, whenever enemies get a little too close for comfort, he has a sunbeam that he can shoot from his mouth, that, the sun bolts. Not only that, he can also go underground and watermelons will start to grow, and then he can pop right back up and the watermelons go shooting everywhere. Not only that, most people don't know this, but you can actually hold the button. Check your ability list for whatever, console you have. You can hold the button and he'll sit underground and the watermelons will be guarding him and he cannot take damage. So you can hold that as long as you like and then blow everything up. You can wait on enemies to get there so that way it causes more damage, or you can just rock their world with some epic melon. On to the next one. Speaking of rocks, Dino-Rang. Dino-Rang is an Earth Skylander from Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, not Swap Force, and he was never reposed other than the Eon's Elite figure, which I imagine is an absolute boss because even just this basic figure is an absolute chad of a Skylander. He has rock walls where if enemies get too close, he can set booby traps where the rocks will come up out of the ground and punch them right in the groin. Dino-Rang is a little... He's hitting them where it hurts, man. Anyway, the rock fist will come up and punch them and then sink back into the ground, and they will wait for enemies to walk over them, and then they will reach up and punch. That does include for big enemies. I know that a lot of people think that it's only for like chompies and stuff, but no, for big enemies too. Like if you're fighting Chaos, he floats over them, they will rise up and punch him straight in some pretty rough places, man. Anyway, so yeah, that's Dino-Rang. He also throws his boomerangs in a circle, and that it makes it to where you can deflect all sorts of, if they're shooting at you or launching rockets or, fireball, it'll shoot right back at them. And that's pretty good because most of the time it hits a critical hit if you end up hitting them with their own item. And then he has this basic boomerang where you can lead it to whatever enemy you want. That comes in handy for like annoying little things like chompies or whatever, because you can just spam them and he reloads really fast. But yeah, use Dino Rang a lot more than you do, guys. I see you. Use Dino Rang. Now, a lot of people really don't like this Skylander, but honestly, he's one of my favorites from the entire franchise, and that's Voodoo. He can set traps, he gets up close and personal, melee attacks, he can launch his chain axe, and, it'll sink into the enemy, and then he'll pull himself forward, and that causes immense damage. I don't know if people knew that, but oh my gosh. Not only that, if you hit the same button that launches his chain axe up close, it shocks the enemies. It shocks them. He'll go off and bash them, and then they'll be sitting there, shocking. They'll be sitting there being shocked. They'll just be stunned and they'll be shocked. And then he can go off and swipe his axe and just knock them out. He does at least 104 damage almost every single time he swings that axe. This guy is great for up-close melee attackers. Not so great whenever it's ranged. But he can set booby traps as well. He'll sink his axe to the ground, and then, a little blue line will pop up, and that is where the booby traps are. You can have up to 2 of those active at a time. I wish that there was more, but sucks to suck. And anyway, and so he can swing his axe and shock people, and he has all sorts of combos. He has where 1, 2, and then jumps up, slam, boom, it shocks people. He is great for stunning enemies. He is great for up close and personal. He is a great Skylander. Quote me on that. Now, no Skylanders list is complete without one of the original 3 from the Spyro's Adventure starter pack, and this here is Trigger Happy. My boy Trigger Happy lives up to his name. My man's got so many good attacks with his golden guns. Now, my man, as an American, personally, my man just sits here, he's like, boom, 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 boom. He can just sit there and pull the trigger every 5 seconds. If you hold the trigger down, he launches a massive golden bullet, which will just tumble. Or if you hold it long enough, and if you've taken that path, then you can launch a giant, basically, burst of flame, which is supposed to be like, basically like a giant flame discharge from the barrel. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, and so, yeah, my boy Trigger Happy came in clutch whenever I was defeating the Chaos Doom challenges. Now, he doesn't have that much health, so you gotta run whenever you're doing, fighting tons of enemies, but you can sit there and spam. His biggest and greatest attack that I have him on for his path right now is his golden bullets, or he'll lob a golden bullet, and then it'll sit there and be heads or tails. It is so good, man, and it does so much damage, especially if you're doing, crowd control. Trigger Happy is your man. Oh my goodness, this dude hits hard. He hits harder than your mom whenever you accidentally knock something over in the grocery store. Last but not least is a favorite of one of my favorite YouTubers that I go off and watch, Tuwimi, Drobot. Drobot is an absolute Chad. Now, this man has basically infinite lasers coming out of his eyes. He can fly, and it actually does damage. Why didn't they do this for all the other Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure Dragons? Oh my goodness, if Spyro could have caused at least a little bit of knockback whenever he flew, that would have been so much better. Including Whirlwind, Cinder, every dragon that had wings that could basically fly needed an attack that goes along with their wings. So where, they'll be flying and it does damage. Because Drobot does it and it's so good. And it fits with his attack patterns where you can, launch the gears out of his wings. And you can use your lasers and everything. Drobot is a Chad. Drobot is good for crowd control. He's fast. He does more damage than most other dragons, Skylanders from Spyro's Adventure. I can't think of any other dragon that I would, rather play as other than Camo than Drobot. This dude is a Chad. Last but not least is my first Skylander, my favorite female Skylander. Um, yeah, it's my girl Stealth Elf. So she's over here. Every single time that she attacks, she gains health. You know, whether it be 5 or 10, she gains health quickly because you press a button, this girl go launching across your screen. She's gonna go off and she's gonna be doing somersaults. She's gonna be blading up the enemy. She can heal herself. She can use a poison cloud to get the job done. She is an absolute boss of a Skylander. Now, this is just the original, so she doesn't have any of the WoW pals, but personally, she don't need them. She is an absolute boss of a Skylander. She does not need a WoW pal. I love this Skylander. She's my favorite. She's so good. She does so much damage, and she's so fun to play as because she will go launching across your screen. She will do immaculate damage. She will blow everything up, man. She's not very flashy or whatever, you know, where fire, flame, boom, boom, boom. But she will sit there and you can do like so many different combos with this character. She does great damage whenever you're in a life elemental zone. If you guys haven't recently, go back and reuse your Series 1 Stealth Elf. You will not regret it. She is so freaking good, even without the WoW pals or whatever. I've never played on Series 2 Stealth Elf. I have played on Series 3, but this girl is where it's at, man. Thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate, you know, all the love and support that this channel has been getting recently. But yeah, so catch you on the flip side. Peace out and bye-bye.